Create simple calming pressure around your dog's torso. The result, no pulling.
We're back with the House Oversight Committee Chairman Jason Chaffetz as we follow this afternoon's breaking news, and there's lots of it. We're also standing by for a statement now from the House Intelligence Committee Chairman on information provided to the committee this afternoon from the Justice Department on surveillance activities during the presidential campaign. Stand by for that. Congressman, in addition to that lapse on the grounds of the White House, the Secret Service reporting that this individual got 17 minutes of free time to walk around the grounds of the White House a week ago. We're now also learning that a laptop belonging to a Secret Service agent was stolen yesterday in New York City. The laptop contained Trump Tower floor plans and evacuation protocols. Lapel pins worn by Secret Service agents were also stolen. Here's the question. Were protocols broken in this case?
We don't know. That's another question we have for the Secret Service. We're also concerned that a radio was also stolen. You can replace lapel pins literally within an hour or two. The encryption, we hope, is in place on that laptop. But it would seem that it's a break of protocol to simply leave a laptop in a car when it's not on the scene of where you're actually working. And so why was it just sitting there so somebody could break into a car and steal that stuff? It just seems like it should be a violation of protocol, but we need the Secret Service to answer that as well. Yeah,
that information you're sharing with us about a radio also being stolen, I had not heard that. That sounds new. What else can you tell us about that?
Well, again, we're basing a lot of this on news reports at this point. We have some very difficult situations that are going on, and I love the men and women of the Secret Service. They do a very difficult job. They're understaffed by roughly 1,000 agents and officers. But you can't have these catastrophic failures, particularly the fence jumping incident.
While I have you, totally unrelated, a lot of us remember some contentious moments that you had during the last recess when you held some town halls in your district in Utah. You said you thought some of those protesters intended to bully and intimidate. Here's the question. Is that a fair accusation to make about some of your constituents who came to simply have their voices heard?
Well, look, after an hour and 20 minutes of yelling, screaming, and flailing, I think a lot of people came to have a dialogue. Most of them were Utahns. Most of them were not paid. But there were some agitators, and more than just a few, that you couldn't have the actual dialogue and discussion back and forth. And that's why I think it was a missed opportunity. I went there. I don't suppose that everybody agrees with me on everything, but that's why you have town hall meetings, is to have that interaction. But you can watch the video for yourself. It was so over the top. And I do think it was bullying and intimidation, not just of me, but of the, trying to do it to the other people who just don't want to be part of such a irate group of people. You have every right to protest and put up signs and disagree, but let's at least have a dialogue particularly on issues where we disagree. It's helpful to me, and I think it's helpful to the people I represent as well.
How are you going to vote next Thursday when the legislation to repeal and replace Obamacare comes up on the House floor for a final vote?
Well, I'm encouraged by what happened today. The President's interaction with the Republican Study Committee, Representative Mark Walker, Mia Love, and other members were there. They were very encouraged with some of the alterations that are happening. Look, for me, Obamacare is a complete and total disaster. I have heard story after story after story about how expensive it is, how the deductibles have gone up, the coverage is worse, the access to competitive products is way down. We all know that Obamacare is in a death spiral. So I'm excited about this package. I do think it's going to offer the right solution. I look forward to the final product. And, yeah, we're going to have a big vote on Thursday.
So it sounds like you're inclined, at least as of now, to vote yay.
Oh, yeah, at this point, I am leaning towards a yes. I've got to read more of the final details. There is a three-pronged approach to this, but what it does in terms of helping the deficit, making sure that we get away from this mandate that I just think is a violation of who we are as an American, but also making sure that people have access to good quality health care. Products and services. I mean, that's what we've got to do no matter where you are in the socioeconomic scale. And that's what we're trying to do. And I think we've gone a long way to making this much better for Americans. And to do nothing is just the absolute worst thing in the world we could do.
Congressman Jason Chaffetz of Utah, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Wolf. Appreciate it.
The president will be happy with what he just heard on the vote. Just ahead, President Trump uses the German Chancellor Angela Merkel to press his wiretap claim.
As far as